The purpose of this event is to celebrate the glorious imaginations and creations of our talented students, our talented faculty, and our talented Nearby Universe Writers Group. I want to help my students not only develop their voices, but to believe in their voices. Now more than ever, we need to use our voices to stand up for ourselves and for our fellow human beings, every single one of our fellow human beings, with the conviction that what we say, what we write, and what we do matters. Tonight is more than a celebration of fantastic poetry and prose. It's a celebration of that audacity to speak up for what vibrates within us as right, as just, as sacred. And we all have that power and courage within us. If you would like to share your work tonight, sign up here. Any and all languages, welcome. Any more sign-ups? Okay. I'm getting a vibe from over in this area. Well, I don't know. I'll just leave it right here in case anybody has an idea. All right. All right. Songs. It's hard to. Songs are alive. Poems and stories are alive. Visions are alive. They want to be born. They whisper to us, asking to be written down. And then they want to be sung. They want to be shared. Your dreams and visions of beauty and truth and justice need to be shared. For it is the artists and musicians, the storytellers and poets that must imagine a better world. Imagine it, write it down, and then, if there's any hope for that world to become real, we have to say it out loud. We have to say it and sing it and stand up for it 1,000 times and demand that it be heard. Unfortunately, I got a call from Bobby Lefebvre last night and he is down with the flu. However, on a moment's notice, the award-winning internationally, and I'm hoping he is actually back in the room here. There he is. On a moment's notice, the award-winning, internationally known poet, musician, actor, speaker, and educator, Jose Guerrero agreed to come. He is not only a poet who has found his voice, he has found the courage to share that voice and that vision with the world, with the determination to make the world a better place. A true poet is a prism, reflecting the pain of injustice one moment, so sharp it chills us to our bones, and warming us the next, reminding us of the wonder and beauty that's all around us. Both experiences lead us to the truth in our own hearts, and that heart points us to righteous action. Thank you for speaking your truth and setting such a powerful example. We're honored to have you here. Thank you for coming down tonight. I have so much gratitude also for all the people who are making tonight happen. There are so many cool things here that are made possible by our wonderful theater chair, Professor Sarah Shepard-Shaver. Where is she at? She is here, or she had to step out at soccer game meets. Thank you to Sarah for letting us use this fantastic space and helping me set up so many cool things for tonight, including the subtitles. If anybody needs to get closer to read the Spanish subtitles, now would be a great time. I would also like to thank the Studio West Art Gallery Director, Madeline Zykis, for the use of the gallery and lobby space. Thank you to the Latino Alliance and Student Experience and Equity for the excellent workshop, all the pamphlets, all the stuff out there, delicious refreshments, especially David Lopez, Marta Armijo, Araceli, Delgato, Trujillo, and Enrique Romo and Candy Ruiz for coordinating with the Campus Pantry. Offering this workshop as part of the evening and collecting this food gives another dimension to all the beautiful words we're going to hear tonight, and that's the dimension of action. I appreciate you all so much.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank the English department, especially Mandy Solomon, the editor of Parley, our PPSC literary and academic journal. Parley is partnering with the creative writing program to create a special section in the upcoming print edition celebrating the event tonight, so please take a free copy of the journal here. Later, tonight, tomorrow, listen to your heart. What did you think sitting here tonight? What did you feel? There are poems and stories in you who want to be born. Let them out, set them free. Getting published is another powerful way to use your voice. And your voice is needed. It takes all of us. Submissions are due April 1st, so check out Parley online or talk to me or Mandy after the show if you have questions about how to submit your work. My thanks also go out to the creative writing program team, especially Amie Sharp, our keynote speaker coordinator, Lisa Macedo for publicity, Audrey Hartman for coordinating the sign language interpreters. Thank you, sign language interpreters. So we'll start out tonight. Oh, wait, one more. Finally, I would like to thank my beloved Bhagat for filming tonight and for so much more. So we'll start off tonight with the student reading and open mic. Next, we'll hear from faculty and members of the Nearby Universe. Then we'll have a quick break and come back around 7. From 7 to 8, our visiting writer, Jose Guerrero, will take the stage. After the show, some of our authors will be available to sign and sell books and CDs and some other cool things like that. Some topics may be inappropriate for children. That's your discretion. Please put your phones on silent. And if you have to step out, please go in between pieces. Bathrooms are down the hall to the left. Was anyone else waiting for the sign-up sheet? Maybe I mentioned it one time.
I'll sign. Do I need to sign up?
Never underestimate the power of peer pressure.
You look at me like that.
It takes everybody. It takes everybody. All right. Can we get, I think we're ready for the student reading. So let's get started. First up, we have Araceli Delgato Trujillo, who is not only a student, but the president of the Latino Alliance and membership VP of the Honor Society. She is active in Armonía Hispana and the Inclusion and Empowerment team in student engagement and leadership. She was in charge of organizing last year's Hispanic Heritage Festival, which was a huge success. Outside of school, she's on the board for Think Positive, a nonprofit, and serves as a young adult leader in the Colorado Springs Catholic Diocese. Passionate about leadership and service, Araceli is dedicated to making a positive impact in the community. Let's give a warm welcome to the brave and talented Araceli.
Okay. My poem is called
blows life gives you, and sometimes they become visible on the body. Raise your head, hold it high, for that means you've survived hell, and you've risen from the ashes like a phoenix. Without knowing if you will survive, you ask God to let you live and help you on the path to achieving your goal. There are people who judge you without knowing your story, but by the grace of God, He has brought you to glory. Having those who are close to you motivate you to continue. I know they do it because they love you, and for them, you keep going. But at the same time, you feel pressured because you don't want to disappoint them. They see all the triumphs you have achieved. It's not for me, but for them. Those who have passed away and those who will come, feel the warmth in your heart, the fire to succeed. Feel the love of dad, mom, sisters, and brothers. For your family who are watching the path that you are forming. And know that one day they will walk beside you. Maybe they'll surpass you, and that's okay. Because this path is not only yours, it's for everybody to make their own way. Your siblings are the strength you need to continue, so they can see that everything in life is not limited and it does not end with you. It is an act of lovingly teaching the way and for them to follow it. Being an example to follow is what motivates me to keep going. I have much to thank this country where I lived, which has seen me grow, seen me fall and rise and get much more strength and glow. I would like to say that I love the country where I was born. Although it didn't see me grow, it's part of my story. Beautiful and beloved Mexico, how I miss you. But I dedicate all my achievements to my fellow countrymen. United States, thank you for the opportunity to change my future, of my family, and many more to come. Be yourself and never lose your essence. Love yourself, be grateful, and respect yourself. Do nothing that you wouldn't want done to you.
Beautiful, thank you. Next we have, is Megan here? Megan is not here. Next.
I am here, but I'm not gonna read.
Okay.
Okay.
Not even the ode to my bed?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. I never knew I should write an ode to my bed until I read Megan's poem. But that's all right. Next we have Scarlet Gruber, a communications major. Welcome, Scarlet.
Hello.
Hello.
My poem is called From the Root. You may see me shaken by the wind, falling apart, sometimes alone and dry, even if it rains. A sky full of raindrops sometimes are not enough. My roots grasp the essence while I collect strength and desire to stay. Time touches every corner of my being, and I discern at each visit, in each season, in every chance I get, gazing at stars in the dark, waiting for the dawn, resisting the heat, resisting the cold, until I watch myself grow up, clambering to the top. And I stand firm, and I stand straight. I do not belong here, I do not belong there. I am where I am because I don't belong to any place. I'm from the earth. And I'm going to read it in Spanish too. Pudieras verme sacudida por el viento, desmoronándome, a veces sola y seca, incluso si llueve. Un cielo lleno de gotas de lluvia a veces no es suficiente. Mis raíces se aferran a la esencia mientras recojo fuerzas y deseos de quedarme. El tiempo toca cada rincón de mi ser y discerniré en cada visita, en cada estación, en cada oportunidad que tenga, mirando las estrellas en la oscuridad, esperando el amanecer, resistiendo el calor, resistiendo el frío, hasta que me vea crecer, subiendo hasta la cima. Y me mantengo firme y me mantengo erguida. No pertenezco aquí, no pertenezco allá. Estoy donde estoy porque no pertenezco a ningún lugar. Soy de la tierra.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you, Scarlet. All right, next we have Damon Gallegos.
How's it going? My name is Damon, and I just started writing music not too long ago, but I feel like the songs that I make are also good poems, so I'd like to share that with you guys. I would also like to know that, or acknowledge that this is an active dialogue, so if there is something that you guys like, I would appreciate a snap or, just a passive way. Thank you. Last night, my thoughts were blast like a mass strike against my last life. A fast life became a bad life. Bad life became a chaste life. Well, not a chaste life, but an enhanced life. Lost one life to gain a new life. A new life brought upon a vast tide, a wave of vast size, way larger than life. No more mind games and gaslights now. Aura so strong it reflects light. I guess all that BS got left in the past life. Last night, I grabbed my flashlight. Before I walked to pastime, overthinking became a pastime. Felt like I crossed the last line. Took my thoughts on a trip. Went through the woods to discover a past life, a last life that was godly. Had vibrations within my body, but it wasn't my body. It was a trick, a divine script, a trick performed to value life. Mind games played a role in my past life. No more mind games and gaslights now. That's right, it's all in a past life. Last night, my thoughts were blast like. The blast side was larger than life. Becoming great became more than just a pastime. No more mind games and gaslights. Aura so strong it reflects like. Call me Mr. Glass. Staying sharp just like a glass knife. I guess I'm glass-like. Last night I think I flatlined. I sat back and watched time pass by. Life's a stage, I sat by who we are cast by. She said no more mind games and gaslights now. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, now we have the much anticipated Kevin.
Hello. Hi. I am Persaud. I am a local artist in town, so it's very nice to meet all of you. I can't see you, this is a giant thing on my face. Is there a theme tonight?
The theme is yes.
No. Okay, cool. I'll do. All right, cool. This is called Wake. You always come to me at night when a new one bats her lashes. Your thick-ribbed gaze is there to remind me there's glass between us. The first time I claimed lucidity and affection to your closeness, we waited in line and rode a roller coaster. Nay, it was one of those couples-only seating boat journey disguises arrived, where the lights flashed and you weren't sure what you were looking at. Intoxicated bumper cars, then came the drop and splash. We walked out together with little remorse and bombed out on forgiveness, drunk off knowing a completeness of closure. The second time was a more formal acquaintance, until the lights went out and everyone was in bed to drift off in their superficial happiness. Then things got feral. Whisper tingles of the neck. Knowing the door was open behind me, I walked to the kitchen to find someone in the other room. She was leaned up against the stove, and I asked what was the bother. Without a change in face or lack of pace, she uttered, "Nothing." And that's how the ethereal grasp untangled me, with redundancy. So, this haunted house did suffer of ghouls with girly glows, songs of sirens that only appeared in echo in dreams as Nightmare Cliff's notes. Dangling from the noose on a branch on a tree with no dirt on the roots, all that's left is a few ghosts in this shell, and I don't know whose soul hurts the most. There's unborn baby screams as war cry for the army of demons that pass through my land, and I wonder if you can hear them too when thoughts of me cross your path. Now, the great nothing is a funnel. Wind tunnels of freedom, lacking a leash that seldom needs walks, just holds hands and drift off. The kaleidoscope mind's eye minds with hope it doesn't stutter, and each smile a rudder while lost at sea, lighthouses as windmills just to greet me. And what these giants lack is the tune of your hum to make inadequacies numb. The pale gray fog that should remain stays like white noise, dumb. If only I could change the channel, but I'm too scared I'll miss something. Wake, to bury these feelings but celebrate these possessions. Thanks. I'm unprepared, sorry. I didn't know I was doing this.
I
Yeah.
know one
I think I'm good there.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next, any other students wanted to read? Okay. Next, we'll have the faculty reading, and we'll start off with Amie Sharp. Amie is an associate professor of English, poetry, literature, and creative writing at PPSC. Her work has appeared in Atticus Review, Badlands, the Bellevue Literary Journal, and Burning Word, among others. Her first chapbook, The Sabine Women, won the 2018 Emergence Chapbook Series Prize, and her poems have been nominated for a Pushcart Prize and Best of the Net. Her newest book, Formations of the West, was published this past October by Main Street Rag Press. In this exquisite collection, she paints intricate pictures of the mundane and the sacred with an even hand, like life itself, towns, canyons, artists, mothers, balancing the demands of creation and survival. Amie Sharp, everybody.
Wow, Brooke, thank you. This is a poem about painting by one of my favorite artists, Georgia O'Keeffe, but very, very early in her career. It's called Train at Night in the Desert. Georgia, it's been 100 years since you stood in the dark Texas dawn and marveled at the multicolored haze clouding toward you down the track. You thought the rest of your life would have spooled from Canyon, Texas. You wrote Alfred Stieglitz that you saw the train, thought of him, and blazed. You had never even been to New Mexico. I think of you so young on the stark gray sand in the path of the oncoming, which looked that night like a train, glittering, alive and black, its light fixed upon you like a sun, like an eye seeing what no one else can see. And this poem is called Diabetes in honor of my mom, who's had a rough week in terms of medical complications. Diabetes. My mother pricks her finger. Dinner's almost ready, halftime, our team losing again, and now her rosemary potatoes will be our solace. For the fourth time today, she tests her blood. My mother loves football and westerns, James Garner as Maverick. Years after a virus ambushed her pancreas, she wears an insulin pump. And while it works, she's a classic movie savant. Give her a classic film character actor, Sidney Greenstreet, say. She can list his roles. But then her sugar drops, her eyes haze. She casts her mind around for what she needs. Orange juice, some jelly beans. She's told me of a diabetic man from my Tennessee hometown who left the hospital after his amputation to hobble through the front door of Patsy's restaurant. A helpless waitress brought him apple pie and watched as he ate the whole thing, gambling his very blood on its sweetness. Just sick of it, my mother guessed. Now she squeezes a glossy disc onto a strip, deciphers numbers. She doesn't mention the ocean of these red droplets she's measured. Because we need her, she knows what she has to do, again and again and again and again. One more, this one is called River Water. The angels have laid down their swords. They're weary of guarding the gates, the blocked avenues of paradise, the forbidden fruits, banishing us into an oasis of free will and sin. Outcasts, we've learned to be generous even in our folly. Dimes are destiny, sure, but killing's our most stable talent. Shrapnel shredded limbs, blood impossibly flowing on busy streets. But now no one takes up that mission, and we wait for death to track us through our arteries. Old bullets embedded in concrete bunkers, virgin bullets poised in magazines. We wrench these into spring air, meld them into interlaced vessels, perfect for scooping up river water and ladling it over some ordinary tree's thirsty roots. In our innocence, we can marvel at the smoothness of metal. Disband the phalanx, assaulting the garden. Those steadfast angels can forget about justice in exile, rub the eternity out of their starlight, hallelujah eyes, go for a nice walk. Thank you.
We have Amber Ridenour-Walker. Her work has appeared in the Portland Review, Word Riot, 580 Split, Bombay Gin, and elsewhere. 3 of her chapbooks, Night Bomb, Autobiographical Alley Map, and Smithereens, were published through Night Bomb Press, and she edited the Night Bomb Review from 2008 to 2012. Her first full-length book, Surfacing, was published by Freelines Press in August of 2021. She holds an MFA from the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics and teaches English at PPSC. Amber.
Well, hello, everybody. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to read to you from, first a couple poems from my book, but I'm going to keep it really brief because my book is largely very depressing. And the great majority of the poems are about dead teenagers from my hometown, and I sort of feel like we more or less have enough doom and gloom in the news right now. So I'm going to try to stick to things that maybe don't depress us quite so much right now. So who here is a, wow, I really can't see anybody. Ooh, this is kind of nice then. Who here is a fan of French New Wave films? Okay, good. Okay, so somebody's gonna get it. So this is this is my poem, and this is called Breathless. This is for my book, and this is dedicated to Jean Seberg. If you love a girl, just maybe you shouldn't steal a car for her. It's bad manners, and what am I supposed to do with this? Oh, maybe I'll take it for a spin, like slick on some lipstick, plotting my next move like a femme fatale, inscrutable in fishnet stockings or some various casting call bullshit. Oh, isn't this poetic? Here's me, tracing my lips over your corpse, pretending, I don't know, you just called me a bitch in your own language. Still, I like the compliments. turning it in my hands, like your scribbled manifestos that I should have thrown away. I never told you that. Maybe there's a lot those movies do not tell you about girls like me. Or just maybe you should have been a better card thief. Thank you. All right, so this is what I wrote because, let's see, while I was going through the process of my recent divorce, I decided it was a really good idea to watch a lot of YouTube videos like, there were music videos I remember watching from the 90s, and I was especially stuck on this one Celine Dion one, and I don't know why, and I still kind of don't know why. There's just something in it that is so like compelling and strange, and I'm kind of still in the process of unpicking it. But it was so just odd that I felt like I had to write a poem about it, so this is that poem. So this is called It's All Coming Back to Me Now. It's all coming back to me now. It's more 90s than 90s. There's something about shouting alone in a beautiful and empty mansion leaves me purple as a bruise. Celine Dion cuts a Mary Shelley in an ivory garden. Piano keys scatter like pigeons. I remember I believed so hard in this version of love. We do this like this, she sings. But didn't I do it all? Shouldn't I at least care? At the end of the rope, a velvet nothing. Not even a motorcycle crash to prove I once gave any kind of shit. A friend asks, but who will play you in the movie of your life? And meant which actresses? Actresses, plural. I could not even answer. Among a multitude, I contained nothing, lost in a darkening, show-stop crowd. Just one more. You know, because I don't like to dump you down into a depressing place. I want to give you something kind of like a little more uplifting, a little more fun. This is, I was kind of reimagining the myth of Eros and Psyche as if, like, you know, because Eros is usually portrayed as if he is this blind god. And then I thought, like, but like, what if he's not blind? Like, what if he's just kind of a big, dumb doofus? You know, because, like, if love isn't blind, isn't it kind of stupid? So this is this is meet cute metamorphosis. Eros got drunk and lost his pants when he met Psyche at a bar, counting her bingo chips. She leads him through the alleys to the center of the labyrinth. The night, a Pyrex bowl with cracks for stars. She claps her hands 3 times. Oh man, I can't stand for shit. But doesn't break the spell. I never learned. The stars are 99% performance, and the rest is myth. She notices his eyelashes in the snow when she hits him in the head with a softball. Like an arrow in reverse. He says, oh, it's just my head, I had never needed it for this. Psyche plays the keyboard while he dances in pajamas. In his apartment, limbs unfold like wings. They order sushi with the names of flowers. Cherry blossoms fizzle in their mouths. His pajamas fall and become deer, nuzzling green stubbled trees. A sudden bright red blossom, breaking ice. She says, if I fall in love with love, I could never take myself seriously. What is Psyche without desire sharpening her arrows? He says, if I was your boyfriend, I would kill myself. He keeps her kiss inside a napkin in his wallet. He hates her lovers, but he always lets her in. Eros without a soul. It's just bad poetry. Eros has a mark made by a sizzle drop of oil. The jealous birds will hate him for his beauty. They will want to peck his wings and steal his songs. Psyche strokes piano keys to charm the angry aviary. She's not trying to steal anything, except perhaps her soul. In her hand, she can hold a key. Pull straight a tie. Zip up his jacket. Touch the mark that mars his symmetry. She can march into his dreams with a duel with glass bottles in a hotel lobby. He says, "You're the biggest part of my problem." She takes her key and leads him through the door into the garden, then awake. Inside the theater, they lift plastic glasses. In French, he says, he is the man of cheese. In French, she asks, did you mean to say of wine? In English, his mother, jealous, as in all the tales, says, he's an idiot. Their laughter splashes the walls. The theater blushes burgundy. The curtain falls. The birds write bad reviews. And every human heart is just a lonesome corkscrew. Thank you.
Right, next we have readings from members of the Nearby Universe, our creative writers group for PPSC faculty and staff. The group holds monthly workshops and annual write-ins, and we just celebrated our 7-year anniversary. Thank you very much. Thank you. I am so thankful for the inspiration, camaraderie, and excellent feedback I've gotten from all of you over the years. Nothing helps like another set of eyes. We are always open to new members, and all employees at PPCC. M.R.Hyde will start us off. Brianne, who works under the pen name M.R.Hyde, is an academic advisor in the Advising and Testing Department and a longtime member of the Nearby Universe. She is the author of more than 15 books and is an active visual artist with work up now at the Purple Colorado Show at the Cottonwood Center for the Arts. Her 2 newest collections of poetry, A Prayer from the Driven, Poems by a Christian, and The Reluctant Poet, are available after the show. M.R.Hyde, everybody.
Thank you. I'll read a few from both. I am deeply enmeshed in the Bible, the Christian Bible, and the Old Testament stories really profoundly affect me. This one is a song for Leah. Leah was an unwanted and unloved woman who God did a great reversal with. Victory through birth, 7 times unearthed, riven heart given girth, hips of strength, fertile womb, oh, the victory for the first. First, yet now second, 7 times was beckoned, longing heart unreckoned, arms of love, vibrant womb, oh, the strength of the awakened. Triumph always hers, children's praise rehearse, prayers heard, grateful womb, oh, deft defeat for saboteurs. I wrote this poem after my sister Becky passed away in autumn of 2016. I stood among the grasses today. Their whispers swirled around me. The wind pressed them to reveal their autumn secrets. Yellow in their age and yet resilient in their roots, they looked of death and life together. Golden in the sunshine, brittle in their strength, still standing upright in their reach toward the sun while making wave offerings of their generative seed to be caught in the same wind which urged them to speak. I could not hear their words, but I heard their songs. It felt like death, but spoke of life, this falling down, this failing, this aging, this dying. I stood among the dying grasses and felt of life again. Okay, I'll do this one and then just a couple from my other collection. Protestant woman religious. There's no place for a Protestant woman religious. No place at all. No convent to focus in. No temple grounds to pace. No conclave to join. No order in which to pray. No place but his presence in which to dwell. I just love nature and animals and stuff. So I went up to the Badlands National Park and came away with this piece about our buffalo. Leviathan of the prairie, great lumbering Leviathan, one of so few anymore, dominating the prairie horizon, dusting up the prairie, rustling up the prairie. Great power in motion, deceiving us that you are invincible, but gaining back the prairie floor with the aid of those who put away their guns. Okay, just a couple more little ones. Oh, Putin's war. It was no hijab, nor was it a chemo scarf, but her favorite blanket that covered her, shrapnel-filled, glass-pierced, concussed, head and body rolled by mass grave diggers, filled with rage and sorrow into the gutter dug in horrified haste for the victims of Putin's war. Was she making coffee when her apartment blew to bits? Was she reaching for the refrigerator door when 5 floors above her became more incendiaries of Putin's ugly war? I live on the 10th floor, and the wind is very different on the 10th floor than it is on the surface streets. So this is called 10th story wind. The wind is more bestial 10 stories up. Its mouth is wide open, roaring rather than screaming around brick artifices and through metal banisters, rattling and shaking the windows, demanding to come in. And when it cannot, it ignores that stop, cursing anything that defies its power, and just keeps going full throttle. There is no diminishment of its power, unfettering and threatening. That's how the grasshopper got up here. Launched with the power of Cape Canaveral, thrust far above its minuscule leap in the grass, and lodged in my screen. Bats, crows, seagulls, and hawks plant themselves anywhere. But the pigeons, those deep-breasted, short-winged creatures fly into its face, while the humans hunker down inside. Those iridescent-throated acrobats leap off of the roof and play in the dragon's bellow. They dare to stop them. They dance in its withering strength. They twirl and laugh in its face with glittering eyes of defiance and joy.
The one that we heard, that's just, that was fantastic. All right. Next up, you've created a stir in all the room with your work. All right. Next up, we have Richard Curran Trussell, another faith faithful member of our little nearby universe who teaches philosophy. He holds a master's in divinity and was also a professor of religious studies at Regis University. Richard has brought in $298,000 in educational grants he wrote for our college. And his academic work includes Judge to Judge, Animals Do Not Hold Court, Humans Do, published in The Gavel from the National Judges Association, I, Robot, You Gotta Have Heart, published in the Journal of Religion and Film, Whys, Wherefores, and Ruminations on River Running, featured in Headwaters, Friends of the River, and a study guide to accompany Malloy's Experiencing the World's Religions. Richard is currently writing his memoir. Richard.
Well, the light's so bright, it shines through all the way up to the bottom. Some years back, the Gazette newspaper and the Colorado Springs Symphony Orchestra sponsored a short essay contest on the search for freedom. It was to remember the history behind the Shostakovich Symphony No. 13. I'm sure you have that on the radio or your CD as you came in. That symphony honored and mourned the 100,000 victims, mostly Russian Jews, who were massacred by the Nazis and buried in a ravine called Babi Yar in Kyiv, Ukraine. I've added a postscript after the essay that I wrote back then. History repeats itself in the face of precarious human existence. In the quicksands of time, the temptation is to find firm footing by standing on someone else. Who will be the scapegoat? Well, the Jews are handy, if for no other reason than tradition. Persecuting the historically persecuted is perverse. A pathetic attempt to find roots in a rootless existence. But any foreigner will do. Anyone who doesn't think, act, talk, dress, or look like us. And the deadly dance begins there. What could possibly give life to hope? Remembrance, resolve, struggle, faith. The fondness of genealogy for biblical peoples and indigenous cultures is an impulse toward rootedness that is served by remembrance. This goes against the grain of modern society where everything is always ahead. But when only the new is worth exploring, the lessons of the past are forgotten and relearned at only great cost. Plato's allegory of the cave showed that people chained by ignorance and prejudice would kill a messenger of freedom if given the chance. The Garden of Genesis story reveals something that no fig leaf can cover. A voracious human appetite for unaccountable power, to be like God, and blame, and to scapegoat others rather than assume personal responsibility. Adam blames Eve. Eve blames the serpent. Successful experiments in democracy, which do preserve freedom, know and apply these stories that reveals human nature in its heights and its dirty depths. Compulsory education that is truthful and not propaganda. A system of checks and balances and not dictatorial might are what's needed. Remembrance always needs resolve. And freedom is always a struggle, both inward and outward. Each one of us has the potential to be the oppressor or the liberator. When the dark voices are unacknowledged, they are disowned and projected onto others. Every unholy crusade seeks to destroy an externalized image of evil residing in our own heart. Too many live in smug denial. It can't happen to us, no. But as we've seen so often, no one regardless of nationality, race, religion, political party, immigration status, is immune from becoming the innocent victim of the blood-stained trigger hand of repression. Each of us must be vigilant and struggle to give life to the good in the face of evil that persists and stubbornly exists. Surely in the end, the deepest of mysteries is hope in hopeless situations, faith against all odds, freedom issues out of these times, the burden to be borne by each succeeding generation. In the shadows of Babi Yar ravine, thousands die, but the truest values are not killed. So freedom lives faithfully through remembrance, resolve, individually and collectively. It suffers, loves, struggles, and endures. And as a constituent of the human spirit, and perhaps powers divine, freedom finally triumphs. Now is the postscript to my essay. In the, if you've been up to Denver, in the Hamden area of Denver, South Havana and HCL Avenue, there's a 27-acre memorial park commemorating the victims of the 1941-1943 Nazi massacre of Ukrainian Jews. It's laid out around a central pathway configured by the Star of David. The Grove of Remembrance in the park consists of 100 linden trees planted in a grid representing the 100,000 people killed at Babi Yar. In the center grove, water flows from a roughly shaped black granite disc. A ravine runs along the edge of the park, reminiscent of where the victims were buried. It is crossed by a narrow bridge with a high blackened walls, evoking train cars used by the Nazis to transport the victims. This memorial park up in Denver was designed by Lawrence Halpern and Satoru Nishitani, award-winning American architects based in Northern California. Lawrence Halpern, a Jew, was born in New York City, and he worked 3 years in a kibbutz in the British Mandated Palestine, which is now called Israel. As for his equal partner, at the dedication ceremony, a reporter had a pointed question for him. Mr. Nashita, you're not Jewish. I'm curious, why would you be interested in working on the Babi Yar Memorial? When not in California, Satoru Nishitani was accustomed to racist comments. This is how he simply replied. My parents and grandparents in World War II were imprisoned in Potsdam, Arizona. Camp Satoru Nishitani is Sansei, third generation Japanese American born in Castroville, California, 10 miles from Watsonville, California, where my wife was born. My wife is Sansei, third generation Japanese American. Satoru's family story in the camps is essentially that of my wife's family story also. But that is a story for another day. Thank you. Which one do I read? So, that teaches. She has two books forthcoming from the Solicited Press. Exodus with Red Delicious, a collection of poetry and short stories, and a collection of results entitled I Drink from the Year. Real Gazelle. Oh, thank you. She is founding editor of Blue Planet Journal and the founder and facilitator of our nearby Univision. Brook.
Thank you. This word gazelle is so tough that your phone can't catch it. It's an old Arabic, 7th century Arabic form that has caught me unawares and made me fall in love with it. And my phone thinks I'm saying gazelle, like the animal, so it's not him. All right. This is heart the size of a car. When I wake up, it's almost dark. I hear boom, 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 and I think it's the raccoons jumping on the roof, or the porch swing hitting the house, fireworks for some forgotten holiday, or the war we've been waiting for. But when I pull back the curtain on the window in the door, each rectangle of glass is full of your humming heart, the size of a car, its feathery periwinkle veins like map rivers, red finger branches steady, wrapping down around the lower chambers, thumping and smearing the glass in the pattern of trees, thumping, knocking, asking. Yeah. All right, so the seed of this poem is that when I was a small child, the tiles in our shower were turquoise and there were spots of rust. And I would stay in the bath for hours and I would stare at these spots for so long. I don't know, does anybody look at the clouds and they forget what time it is? Because I'm one of those people. And I would look at these spots for so long that I swear they would start to move, and I would start to imagine poems and stories, and they would change into all different things. So that's where this poem began, and you writers know that you never know exactly where it's going to go. But on the other side, when it came out, it became something else entirely. Something about the existential beauty of the trans experience, something about the value of life beyond gender, beyond definition, beyond category or walls. This is called Finding Deep Staria. I would never have found her if not for the rust, climbing over shower tiles, red-brown on sea green. She began as a spot, then two, then shapes, a rabbit, snail, a man, then a woman. She was a mermaid with me for 5 years, singing the old pirate songs of lost souls and fish bowls and other pink things. Then she grew out of her skin. She became finally an unnamed creature, alive without lines, free and wild with hair like fire, stretching to the ceiling. Only one wisp of her tail holds on, for me, curled around the faucet. The rest of her floats free in the glossy turquoise beyond, laughing buoyant above the rusty piles of what she used to be. All right, the next poem is called Open Letter to an Unborn Daughter. This is for my grandmother and all the women in my family. Your family heirloom is a fist girl, fist girl, fist girl, in a world where being is not given but one. You better know where the line goes, girl, 'cause they will draw it on your thighs, your thighs. They will erase you, pluck you, shave you, and draw on your thighs. There is no bone china for you, girl, but born lucky you are, you are. From red women who swear, unbroken women who dare to walk alone, no one worthy to join them. Women who marched in the streets and to police stations in generations when no one even said it out loud, girl, when no one even said it out loud. You'll need to know when you're right, girl. Fight, girl, 'cause nothing's self-evident here. They'll call you sweetie and bitch and baby when you are a full-grown woman, girl, when you are a full-grown woman. Grandma left us an iron skillet, moonstone depression glass, a full set found in boxes of cereal and soap, seashells in bell jars, beach-combed, poems, paintings, half a novel, and one silver ring which bears the sign of equality for women. Mostly, we'll talk about the Wonder Girl, smell leaves and look for tracks, eat half-shell cantaloupe on our backs, but we will listen for the Thunder Girl. And when the storm comes, we will breathe deep, and stand up. So the next one is one of those strange leaping animals called the gazelle. So this is a very funky pattern, structured poem, and maybe you'll see that it's a weird one. This is called Gazelle for Rafa. So I wrote this after, I guess, the first time that they told all the refugees to go down to Rafa before they bombed the shit out of it. Gazelle for Rafa. At the water's edge before dawn, souls draw birthplace straws. Rafa, Paris, Venice, Kinshasa. Where is the sin in the child who chose Rafa? No red line holds red lines. Not 30,000 more, they said, not quite this far, but blue becomes purple, becomes red, a blind tide of closed eyes to close Rafa. Winter falls like music on hard, dry buildings, like bullets on naked tents. Any minute now, a ceasefire, shrug the politicians who will never clothe Rafa. There are no targets, no exceptions. A white cat scrambles through ruins, schools, hospitals, bedrooms. All the branches are black on the olive tree that grows Rafa. I remember the water's edge. I am not of this land of flags, of the black and blue bomb stars, tied with red lines, stripes of white phosphorus rain that erodes Rafa. Night of bodies. A mother holds a white sheet with a pink sneaker like my girl's. Why is my daughter warm and hers cold? Still as the abyss that froze Rafa. Little girl drifting up, see the camera brand. Starvation, polio, interviews with mothers like yours. It's not news on CNN, cowed silent, even though they know Rafa. Little girl, the gods smoke hookah in the clouds, and their laugh rumbles just like genocide. When you meet, tell them Brook is still waiting for Godot's Rafa. See, Amber was trying to keep it light, but
Sorry.
The next one is one more gazelle. This is called Gazelle on Fire. We watch TV with dinner, every cup, every spoon, every plate on fire. Photographs and even books are helpless. Pages burning, I narrate, on fire. We met at Dancing Buddhas. My white silk sari and his pink lungi spun all night without speaking, too tangled to separate, on fire. For 2 hours each night, I see my dead body in flames. My hair and Bowie shirt always go up first. This is how I meditate, on fire. A tigress is following us. When she catches us, she tears our throats and licks our wounds. When we catch her, we drag her behind us in a crate, on fire. There is a box on the desk, wooden, engraved by my uncle. This is where my father is now, where he has chosen to emigrate, on fire. On the boat, I paint on the clouds, cast spells on the moon, write poems on the water. Temples emerge, spill salt water, and disintegrate, on fire. To this place, this time, I have come together and alone, skinned just the wick of Brook, almost late, almost broken, on fire. Thank you. All right, so thank you to all our readers. We will have a 10-minute break now. I know we are running a little bit late. Can somebody tell me what time it is? 7:28? All right, so I will see you all back here at 7:38, and we will hear the magnificent work of Poser.
Also very creative. It was quite a journey. It was very interesting. And of course, this whole time we were battling COVID. Her father, she was 6 years old and she was out there every single night. And she was chanting and she was leading every chant. And the biggest chant, right, was, "There is no freedom without freedom for them all." And this song was created by all of this. And unfortunately, Jeanette's daughters are now that little girl, and for the last 3 or 4 days, they have not left that detention center, and I left just to come perform for y'all. But so this work is important to me, right? This is not just a show; it's what we live through. I'm just writing. I'm just a historian in a sense because I'm just writing what's around me. This is what we're living through every single day. And it's my job to say this and to tell you about her and to look up her case because there's no reason why she was wrongfully taken, why she's not getting a due process, why they're trying to move her to another city without warning us, without telling her family, why they're stripping her of all her rights, and why they're pretending like she's a criminal when she's been out here supporting our community. She's been helping feed people, even when she can't feed herself. She's out there fighting for our rights. And so this song is called Cold Christmas, or Christmas Cold as Ice. They asked her what she wanted, they took her to the mall. Choose anything you've ever dreamed of having, pick anything at all. They told her, don't you worry, don't think about the projects. Choose any toy you've ever dreamed for Christmas, choose any toy at all. The young girl started crying, you heard it through the hall. She says she wants her parents more than Christmas, she wanna tear the walls. She doesn't want your money, she just wants your support. To scream that there's no freedom without freedom for them all. So she cried every night, hoping that tonight's the night her parents reunite. So she cried every night, screaming there's no freedom without freedom for them all. They took her to a dinner, some fancy place in town. Choose anything you ever choose of pleading, choose anything at all. They helped her with the menu, the words she can't pronounce. They promised that the food was so delicious, they leave them out at all. It's not that I'm ungrateful, some tacos will be fine. But can I have the leftovers from dinner to feed those left behind? My brothers and my sisters, they're hungry every night. I'd rather feel their hunger than to let my family starve. And so she cries every night, hoping that tonight's the night her parents reunite. So she cries every night, screaming there's no freedom without freedom for them all. Yeah, little lady, don't let your spirit die. You'll lead the revolution, I can see it in your eyes. The patriarch will fool you, it will try to compromise. You'll mix you with the stereotype and all the stupid lies. Yeah, a Wonder Woman, but nothing in disguise. You're here to help the world, you're here to help your people rise. You fight against oppression, bring oppression to demise. They'll all be on their feet when they realize you can fly. So fly, 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 fly. Together like the monarch butterfly. Together they cannot ignore our fight. So many they cannot ignore our flight. No, no, no. Fly, 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 fly. We'll take this revolution to the sky. We'll never let them win, so dry your eyes. We'll never build a border up this high. They'll never build a border up this high. They'll never build a border up this high. They'll never build a border up this high. So baby, don't you cry, 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 cry. They asked her what she wanted. Thank you. Thank you so much. Blessed to be here. Like you've heard, my brother Bobby Lefebvre cannot be here because he was sick. Honestly, I think he just wanted to spend time with his baby. That baby is adorable, so I don't blame him. But I'm grateful to be here. And to be honest, you just got a younger, better looking, a lot more hair version than Bobby Lefebvre. I'm joking. He has been my mentor for over 15 years. I've known Bobby for a really long time. The first time that I ever thought about doing poetry was because of Bobby Lefebvre. I was in a play called Olin, which was written by Chicano activist, but also a very famous Chicano artist named Daniel Valdez. He was co-founder of Delgato Campesino, which is the farm workers theater. You know, you might have heard of some of their work, Zoot Zoot or La Bamba. They did a bunch of cool work, the first play that I was ever in, Daniel Valdez wrote and directed, and so it was super, super dope to be around greatness immediately. And Bobby Lefebvre played Moctezuma, who was the emperor or the king of the Mexica, or the Aztec people at the time. And so I always literally looked up to him because he was on the pyramid. Anyways, Bobby went to the individual World Poetry Slam during that play, and so someone else got the opportunity to fill in for his role, but we were constantly checking in and seeing how he placed and how he was doing in that competition. And I think he took 11th in the world that year, right? And so Bobby's been killing it and doing so great ever since, you know, I can remember. That's probably 2003 or something like that. You know, he's been set an example. He's kind of paved the way for a lot of folks. He started an open mic called Café Cultura that was around back in the day. That was the first place I ever read poetry, and so he played a huge role in paving who I am today. And so I want to say thank you to my brother Bobby Lefebvre, even though he's not here. You know, we have like a weird sense of like a third sense where we communicate. Every time he hears me talking, he immediately calls me and he's like, yo, what are you saying about me? So I'm sure he's hearing this right now. But anyways, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna read some poems for y'all. If you're interested, we got some I have some CDs and stuff, some stickers the stickers are free, but if you'd like to purchase a CD or anything like that, come talk to me, yeah, we'd love to chat. But anyways, this next poem, I think most of you will be able to relate to it. It was a very common way of discipline when I was growing up, and so this poem is called Whoopins. José David Guerrero Chávez Galván. Get your ass inside this house. ¿Qué te dije la última vez, huh? What did I tell you last time? I remember hearing those words and my nalgas clenching like a pair of terrified chipmunks. It was time for a good old ass whooping. And my parents handed those out like the sky in Denver hands out snowstorms. My mother's cry was like thunder, cracking the night sky every time I gave her a reason to roar. Whoever said lightning never struck twice in the same place must have never felt my mama's hands. But it wasn't just the hands that did the damage. Oh no, see, my mother had the miraculous ability to transform any object into a weapon. So I watched her mold chanclas into machetes and hairbrushes into grenades. These were our mannerism classes. Lessons that I could recite like the back of my father's hands. See, he used to tell me he would hit me because he loved me. And how he wished that at my age, he had parents who cared enough to whoop him when he did something wrong too. Now quit moving, cabrón. You're only making it worse. This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. And I believed him every time he said that. I felt the salt in my father's tears splash the wounds he left on my back. And they still sting every time I hear my son cry. So today, I stand here and looking at my scars and I ask myself, if I want to be the one to give my son his first. And the answer is usually no. Because I know one day he gonna say something that's gonna make me want to grab him by his big old ear, but I'll explain to him that in our neighborhoods, whoopings can sometimes feel warmer than an absent father's hugs. And for all the parents out there dealing with the same dilemma, remember, life beats our kids enough as it is. So let's use our hands to pull them back on their feet instead of beating them down. Thank you. So I started writing poetry when I was around 13, 14 years old. I don't think I really enjoyed poetry that much. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you dropped this sticky from one of your poems.
Oh.
I know I would be like, oh my God, I worked that note. But when I started writing poetry, it was really because I couldn't get cast, right? I couldn't get any roles, and I was kind of like, dang, what am I doing wrong? It was nothing wrong. I was just brown. None of the plays that I was, or that anyone was producing around me were about brown people, right? So I just had to be like amazing for folks to be like, oh my God, we're gonna change the narrative of this play, and now Romeo is going to be brown, and you know, like, and so I struggled, and so I decided to start doing the poetry because then I could just write my own roles, right? I could just write my own stuff, and then fortunately I joined this team called Minor Disturbance. No bedtime. You hear the callbacks and the poetry community will be doing that. So slam Nuba, we cut heads. That was the, you know, our callback. Minor Disturbance, no bedtime. We were the youth team, and so everyone tried to put us to bed early. So our callback was no bedtime because we refused to do that. What y'all end up with? Because we used to be like, we drive north, but like, we'd be like, what? But,
we would say 719, we drive north since we would drive north.
But nah, what was the one y'all ended up with, like the final one? You just here? Some, yeah. Do stuff.
That's Poetry 719, we just up here.
Right, but so that's just part of the culture, right? You always hear the callbacks. But anyways, I was lucky enough to join Minor Disturbance, and we went out to this thing called Brave New Voices. I saw that 1 year before. I saw this guy named B. Young. He was reading poetry, and I was like, that's tight. It's more like hip hop. right? I don't really enjoy, or I didn't really enjoy my time in English class as much when I was in middle school, when we were learning about poetry. And so I wasn't really attracted to that until I saw this new style of poetry that was, kind of being popularized. It was on HBO, right? And I always wanted to be on TV, right? I grew up wanting to, to be on the stage. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try out, and I'm gonna be there next year. And when you talk things into existence, they happen. And somehow, I don't know how, but because we lost a few bouts during that competition. So I have no idea how we ended up making it to the finals, but we made it to the finals, right? And so that changed my trajectory for a while, and I got a lot of cool opportunities after that. But this poem I wrote kind of dealing with that, the identity of being an actor, and then sometimes having to play roles that are stereotypes and that don't really portray your people in a positive light. In fact, kind of put out that narrative that you're a thug, that you're a drug dealer, right? And I've played so many of these roles, unfortunately, and I'm all like, ugh, right? You leave home, you're like, there's no way that you don't carry that with you, even for a little bit, right? And so this is therapy, right? Because if I don't write this, then I'm just gonna feel icky, and I'm gonna feel like, that character is really me. And so I that was the intention of writing this piece. It's called Stereotypes. Damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, mi nombre es José Antonio Enrique de la Cruz, de la Mancha, de la Chancla, and I will be your stereotype for the evening. You may recognize me from films such as Next Friday in the United States, or at least the qualifier. They're doing it in a different way, choosing who goes out there. But the real World Poetry Slam is a thing, right? And so all the countries going to compete against each other. It's pretty cool. How can you really judge poetry though, right? I guess how it makes you feel and how it, whatever reaction you have to that poem. But I always thought that was interesting. And this year they're going to my hometown in Juarez, Mexico, which is crazy. I was like, what? And I don't compete anymore. I'm way too busy with this band, Los Mocochetes. But I was like, dang, that's really cool. Maybe miss those days. But anyways, part of those requirements are you have to write timed pieces. So you could do a 1 minute piece, 2 minute piece, 3 minute piece, 4 minute piece. And then if you make it past that, if you make the selection, because only the top 10 make it, or top 20 or something make it, then you get I guess then you have to do a real slam, which is all 3 minute poems, right? It's really interesting. So you have to have deep pockets just to even compete and make it. The first year I went, second year I actually made final stage and ran out of poems. And, so I was like, dang, right? But it was cool. It was an awesome experience. And so I have a bunch of 1 minute poems because I think that's the hardest one to write. And so I don't know if they're 1 minute anymore. But anyways, this poem right here is called Beans. There are more beans on my shirt than there are inside of my stomach. That's okay. Mama says that's how you're supposed to eat them anyway, because spoons are for the rich. And in this house, we eat with tortillas. And de maíz. Every morning she sent me to the store for a fresh dozen, and on my walk I learned how much sweat it took to cook the perfect recipe. I always wonder how she cooked up feasts from pebbles of desert sand. I look down at my plate, and it looks like my ancestors' flag. Que sabroso. Thanks. All right, everybody have dogs out there? Any dog? Yeah, all right. So anyone got a Corona puppy? This is my Corona puppy poem. And I have a lot of poems that I'd be like, I try to pull you in the heart a little bit. This one, I can't ever read it without tearing up a little bit because, man, I like those puppies a lot. I love it. Especially as an artist, my band Los Mocochetes released an album. It actually, I think I got it right here. It's called Mucho Gusto. But this was the reason why I still have CDs left is because we were supposed to go on a national tour. We had this whole thing. We were signed to this label that we're no longer signed to. They cut us after the whole incident, right? COVID just ruined all of it. The plan was to mass produce and promote this CD. It's called Mucho Gusto, which means nice to meet you in Spanish. And it was like our first EP, and it was gonna launch us out into the world. Unfortunately, it took a different direction. We're still playing and we're still trying to do the same thing, but and now we have a different album, and then we just put out and we just signed with a different label as well. So things are looking up. But when all of that cancels and you have no idea how you're gonna pay your bills because you're not a real member of society, right? Like a real worker, right? We're just out here struggling, and like, it's kind of cool, and I'm proud to say, like, this is what I do for a living, but it's also really scary, right? And it's also really like hard to not, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm out here balling, but it's taken so long to just establish yourself, and then that happened, right? And I just really wanted to just go get a regular job, and luckily, I got 2 dogs instead. And so this poem is called Corona Puppies, and yeah. During the pandemic, my girlfriend found me drowning in my own depression, slowly sinking in a pool of mud too thick to crawl out of, and like any good woman, naturally she knew exactly how to help me. She got me a dog. Una perrita chiquitita que se llama Chola. A bite-sized companion with the ability to make the toughest of men speak in gibberish and high-pitched voice. A 4-legged smiling machine. A guardian angel that slobbers and doesn't understand the concept of personal space. I was in love, but most importantly, she loved me. No matter how many times I failed, how many mistakes I made, no matter how cheesy my feet smelled or how toxic my pedos were, she was always there. But am I always there for her? A few months ago, I realized when I left to work, my dog, she grew very upset, lonely, waiting by the door, anxiously awaiting my arrival. And after many failed attempts to convince my boss that every day was bring your dog to work day, I had to act fast. I mean, how could I be so selfish? How could I be so selfish? How could I ask for so much yet give nothing in return? So I finally caved. And I got my dog a dog. Una hermanita peludita named Lucha that can keep her company while I'm gone. And as they chase each other across the living room floor, I remember that even the smallest of creatures desire unconditional love, and that every day is just simply brighter with the love of a dog.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you forever, and I know that we're like a little bit past time, so I'll just read a few more poems if that's okay. I got 2 new poems, or two pieces that I'll share with you, and I also want to share about this project that I'm doing at the moment. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I lost interest for a while. I was touring. After I got that HBO special, I got really cool opportunities to go and perform just like I'm doing now, but I was a lot younger and a lot dumber, and I was a lot more inclined to do silly things, so I wasn't really ready for that at the time, especially just by myself. It was a very lonely life, and so like I maybe lasted like 2 years, and then I was like, I never want to do this again. And then I joined the band, and it was different because I had my brothers come with me, right? And it was cool, touring, and that whole thing is completely different as a solo artist compared to with the band. And so anyway, so someone was like, please, can you start doing your poetry again? We think, and I don't know if you heard, but they have a spoken word category in the Grammys, and they've always had it, but they're finally granting it or giving it to spoken word poets now. Right? Because in the past, Donald Trump won Best Spoken Word of the Year album maybe like 4 years ago or 6 years ago. And he had a autobiography that he just recited or he read in his voice, and he won the Best Spoken Word album. So at that moment, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to make a comeback. I have a band. I could do something with music, and so I convinced my guitar player. Because as you can tell, I'm an actor, and I can act like I know how to play the guitar, you know what I'm saying? But that guy, he's a real guitar player. He's incredible. He's, in my opinion, the best guitar player in the city of Denver, Colorado. His name is Elias Garcia. And then I also brought up my brother, Joshua Trinidad, who is a Grammy-nominated trumpet player. Been on the Rolling Stone. He's been all over the place, and we formed a trio. It's called Hoser G y El Grito. And so we're recording, or well, actually we have recorded, and we have been putting this album out. And so it's a collection of my poetry with music and production, and it's pretty cool. Hopefully at some point when we have more time, and then when I have more ability to tour, maybe we can stop by here with that project and show you what you know how that kind of looks. But it's I love my work, right? Like, if not, I wouldn't be doing it anymore. But I think it elevates it and it brings it to a whole different dimension with the music, with the trumpet and the guitar. It just allows it to like become even more alive, right? Like you can see the words jumping out the page and grabbing you. And we've toured it for across 7 different cities, and it's been a great hit, right? And so we just got to get back in and really grind it out. But we're excited about that. So look out for that. If you'd like to follow, right, I'm the Hoser G Music at all of the different platforms. Yeah, you see all the weird things that we do as artists. But anyways, this poem that I'm going to recite, this is it's called Walking Towards Freedom, and it's like one of the main tracks that we're trying to feature in this project. And so it goes like this. I got that special type of walk. The type of walk your daddy used when he first talked to your mama type of walk. I got that special type of lead, so smooth that you think I'm cruising a lowrider on Cinco de Mayo. See, I've been working on my walk for a while now, ever since I was a little chavalito. I can recall my father walking me through the process at an early age. He would say, walking is one of the simplest ways that you can show someone your freedom. See, the first step to being a slave is to actually get caught. Why you think Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez spent all that time marching, mijo? You gotta stay on your toes. The system has interesting ways of turning a man into a slave. If you ask my father for a ride, he'd tell your ass to walk. After crossing the desert for a better life, he sees my walk to Colorado Springs as an easy stroll to the park. Walking in my father's footsteps has taught me that if you love something, you'll do anything you can to get to it. Your feet will get you there if you allow them to. My father walks with the determination of an immigrant. Like his children will starve if he doesn't walk fast enough. Like there are immigration agents chasing after him. He is America's worst nightmare. A bad dude in a foreign country, and I always wanted to walk just like him. But I always seem to take the wrong steps. Walking in and out of jail, pacing in my cell like a caged ocelot. These must have been the ways to get enslaved my father talked about. And it all started in the 6th grade when doctors explained to my parents why I walk with a slight limp. My right leg was shorter than the left, forcing me to apply most of my body weight on the right side. I developed a walk that would quickly label me a thug. I guess the inequalities I was exposed to finally drenched through my clothes and into my bones. So now I walk like I got a wounded knee, and like the structure holds me down by my back pockets. Saggy jeans are one of the side effects left over from our oppression. And when you walk with this much weight at an early age, your steps begin to sound like ticking bombs. The type of walk that makes somebody move out the way, punk. The type of walk that make the cops want to follow you. 2012, Trayvon Martin was murdered for having the same walk as me. And they asked me why I cried. Because he walked just like me. He walked just like me. still perfecting his own walk. Still getting used to the feeling of walking in a black or brown man's shoes. This is the reason why kids like us never achieve social mobility. How can we climb the ladders of class if we can't even walk through our neighborhoods without feeling like someone is chasing after us? But I risk it all to show my son and the rest of the chavalitos in the world that we can walk to a better future instead of having to walk away all the time. And if we all walk at the same time, the weight of our steps will force this world to flip its rotation. So stand up and walk with me. My people, stand up and walk. Because we have the weight of this whole world at our feet. And I think it's time that we finally exercise our freedom. Thank you. I haven't drink any water, so I'm all like, but this will be the last thing I do. I appreciate y'all sticking around. This poem was actually inspired by this famous TV show that is no longer airing. It was called The More Show. Y'all ever watched that show? Yeah. So as an artist, you have a lot of research time. Let's call it that. All right. And so, you know, you need a little break from research every once in a while. But also, you know, it's like a sociology study when you're watching that show. Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. It was like one of my guilty pleasures. I definitely watched that show all the time. And I was doing this play at the time. And I got cast, and I was playing this young Native American man who was struggling with his identity. And his grandfather was a famous chief by the name of Black Elk. And so the play Black Elk Speaks was actually the first place that ever produced that play professionally was the Denver Center here in Denver. And then it was produced several other places, including Japan, I believe. And then the Aurora Fox in the city of Aurora produced it, and that's where I came in, right? So I played the grandson, and I was actually, it really opened my eyes, because oftentimes as Mexican people, you're told that you're not indigenous, right? That you're not indigenous enough, and then you're not American enough, right? When you come here, but you go back there and you're not Mexican enough either. And so I think that the Mexican people have, you know, we've been oppressed in so many different angles that oftentimes we start oppressing each other, right? And it's like, you're darker than me, you know, and that's hard, you know what I'm saying? Our culture is very quick about that. We're very racist ourselves, right? We're very discriminatory against other races ourselves. Why? Because we're like, no, right? Like, we're scared that someone's gonna come take our stuff. I think all people are like that in a way, but I've noticed that hypocrisy in a way, because I see what we ask for here and we won't do the same there. And so I was like, man, I wish that I was more educated about my indigenous roots, and even though I you know, my family was pretty in touch with them, I realized that I was still robbed of a lot. And so I wrote this poem as a response to that as well. It's called You Are Not the Father. The results are in. In the case of America, Christopher Columbus, you are not the father. I'm writing this poem on Columbus Day, picking at scabs from old wounds that have yet to heal, reading old history textbooks for inspiration. If there's anything more painful than an old guy telling your story, it's when it's wrongfully told. I still remember the first time I learned his name. Mr. Washington's words sounded more like a rifle. Christopher Columbus discovered America. That moment, I felt the thunder beams crack the sky. I was in first grade, and even then I understood that something was missing. So I raised my hand, and somehow it felt like an Indio revolt, like I was shooting wooden arrows into the mouth of a steel cannon. What about the natives, mister? Yeah, how can you discover someone when Mother Earth already spoke our name into existence? And Mr. Washington's eyes turned into smallpox, into blankets ready to exterminate any question that I had. Well, I mean, the Indians were just a bunch of heathens, undressed and uncivilized. Suddenly, our classroom turned into the battle at the Little Bighorn, and the ancestors said today is a good day to die, and I'll be damned if I let this fool lie. But I was in second grade, excluded from Thanksgiving dinner, and the scoldings I received felt like massacres, like grades being cut off at boarding school. They say that the only good Indios are dead Indios, so they cut our hands off if we didn't bring them enough gold. And if you really wish to exterminate those savages, you will start with their children, because nits make lice, and lice are bloodthirsty. But here's the irony to that. When Columbus first encountered the Taínos, he gave them the name Indios, meaning in God, or God's children. So someone please explain to me why we worship a man who killed angels. I guess he read the Bible the same way he read map coordinates, with his eyes closed. And yet today we still celebrate the world's biggest mistake. But the truth is, Columbus never even stepped foot on what we call America. Yet his bloody spirit still lives on. And the hungry trigger fingers of police officers killing our people at higher rates than ever through the oil pipelines that stretch themselves through our reservations and sacred burial grounds. America, is there not enough blood underneath our fingernails already? Tried so hard to bury us underground, but you forgot that we were seeds, and our tree will always blossom, and you can never cut us down. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know it was last minute. I know you were expecting someone else, but thanks for sticking around and giving this guy a chance.
All right, thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out, to all our readers, poser, everyone who made this night possible. Let's have one more big hand for all our readers. And our sign language interpreters. I encourage all of you to keep using your incredible imaginations and your incredible voices. Write down the songs that come and share them, because when we stand up for that vision of a world of love and beauty and justice, we take the first step in creating it. And if you want to practice developing your voice, if you want to study the art of it, students, please sign up for creative writing and poetry with me, Amie, Lisa, Audrey, and all our amazing professors, okay? So we are going to be having some books for sale from our authors tonight, and some CDs from Poser. So please stick around, come and mingle, and say hello, and buy our stuff.